Hello, welcome to the Full Frame with Mark and Ben. I'm Mark, this is Ben, and this is the Full Frame of Mark and Ben. Today we're in London and we're going to talk about TLR versus SLR. Ooh, on 120. We shoot in my Rolleicord Va, which we did a video on that you can see. TLR stands for Twin-Lens Reflex, and it basically just means there's two lenses, one that you actually look through and one where the actual picture is taken. Once you get the hang of them, they're quite easy to use, I think, but it does take a little bit of learning. Yeah, it's a totally different experience, which leads me on to the SLR, which is probably a very familiar experience for most photographers, because SLR is single lens reflex. There's a mirror in here like that, a prism, and you look through the viewfinder, the mirror and the prism does its thing, and you are looking directly out of your taken lens. So for focusing and composition, like for perfect framing, it is superior. There's definitely a charm with the TLR, isn't there? I've never pushed gold, but I've heard good things, and I've heard that you get a bit more contrast, which actually for this kind of thing I think is perfect.
Pushed Kodak Gold.
Oh yeah. We
stops.
kind of didn't plan this, but and I didn't even realise it at the time, but we both shot gold.
Yeah. It was a nice comparison.
Yeah, both 120, both shot gold.
Yeah.
And I just pushed it 2 stops because all my 120 at the moment is like under 200 ISO.
Dark and grey everywhere.
And it's really difficult to shoot.
Gold came out really nice.
Yeah, pushed, yeah, and normal. But surprisingly, considering it's not a pro level Kodak film, it does handle pushing well, and 2 stops is a lot, like for
so that's
a
800,
cheaper film.
right?
Yeah.
Just
which is
for people that don't know that are watching. I know, obviously.
But that was so usable. Like the shots in the underground, we can compare them to yours.
So mine was a bit wobbly. Handheld, didn't have tripods on us.
You just didn't have the speed to be able to do it handheld.
So that's what it's like. That's the difference.
And I can't remember my settings. I might have said it in the video, but it was totally handholdable. It might have been like 1/30th, and that's like fine, you know. Yeah. So that was really cool.
I might do it as well. It's good.
Yeah, definitely this time of year, like, because I've always gone like, I don't have any high ISO film. Like, it's a dreary day. Just push it.
There's not really much, is there? There's not really a load of choice.
No, there isn't that many options. Colour, no. And Portrait 800 is literally the most expensive.
Yeah, like you might as well just sell your car to buy a roll of it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I bought a roll of 35 millimeter Portrait 800, and it was like 27 quid.
Yeah, it's just insane. I think the 120 is 20 quid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
what's the point?
£2 a photo for me.
It's not worth it.
No, it's not. When you could push gold, and it looks all right.
Yeah,
you definitely lose some shadow details, and the grain is like harsher. But if you're like a lot of us, if you're into film because of the film look, like you actually get more of that, I think, from pushing it. Oops. difference between this and the Barbican as well is like there's no variation here. Yeah, there's no variation. It's just one street that's the same.
Yeah. Well, I think the Barbican has loads of different flats.
Yeah.
Like different
types
of flats. Yeah.
So we've come to the Barbican, which we've come to before, to take some more photographs. Look at this old time place.
Nice. Cheers.
What was the shooting experience like?
Like compositionally, the SLR is a little bit better for that and for focus.
Yeah.
Because you really know what you're getting because it's all through one lens. And with a TLR, the closer up objects, you're going to get that parallax effect, which we spoke about in the Rollie video. Yeah, the closer you get, the more of that effect is going to kind of mess up your composition. And then there's the whole top-down thing, which I did say there are SLRs that are top-down. There's no TLRs that are like eye level, although you can make them if you put a viewfinder on the top. But yeah, I'd say the main thing is like the whole top-down or eye level. Most SLRs come eye level. Most TLRs are waist level.
Yeah. With all the looking down ones,
Yeah.
are they all that mirror effect where you look and it's sort of
Yeah. If it's only one mirror,
yeah,
it's obviously only going to be
the image is mirrored.
Yeah, it's only going to be flipped one time. So the reason why an SLR is the right way round is because it's hitting a mirror and then going into a prism, which is like another mirror.
So you're seeing a mirrored image.
It's a mirrored mirror, yeah. So obviously it reverses itself again. So yeah, there are not any TLRs that are not flipped like that. So that's a good point. That's something I didn't think about. That's something to get used to, which I think we both have, and you do get used to it quickly.
The more you shoot it, the more you get used to
it.
Like when I first got it, I hated it.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, like keep going with it, and then the more I've shot it, like I'd say over Christmas and New Year, I've used it more than any other camera, and it's like I love the experience of it.
I'd say the hardest thing is like if you're trying to line something up horizontally, like so line up a horizon. That is so difficult for some reason. I don't know why. But like the whole left and right thing, that you get used to that pretty quick. It's then when you need to start tilting it left and right, back and forwards, and then it really messes with your head.
And then focusing, what's the experience like? I think with SLR it feels a lot more intuitive, and it's just sort of like you can do it. And then TLR, from my experience, it feels fiddlier.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a higher chance you're going to miss focus on a TLR just because your eye is not as close to the focusing screen. You're on a SLR, your whole vision is taken up by what you're shooting. So, and that's why people rave about big viewfinders, because you get a really nice, clear image. But with the TLR, like if it's a sunny day, the vignette on the focusing screen is really quite strong. So you really can only get a clear image right in the middle. So sometimes, I don't know if you've ever done it, I like reframe so the focus point is in the middle, get that focus and then put it where I want it. Because if you want to focus on something in the corner of your frame, you just won't be able to see it. So focusing is definitely a very different experience. And I know people do change those focusing screens in the Rollies. You can get brighter ones. I don't know how
mine came with a spare one, I think. But
oh, right, yeah.
Lens options. So
right,
with the TLR,
none really.
There's
other than your attachments.
Yeah, you got your attachments, but it's like the built-in ones.
Yeah.
And with SLR, it's kind of depends on the camera, but it's like
most are interchangeable. Yeah, I mean, they're from different eras, aren't they? I was going to say, like, an SLR might be considered more professional grade because of the lenses, but, in the era, the Rollie Flex was the top of the line, pro grade thing. So, yeah, they're from different eras, aren't they? So
who would you say that they're good for? Like if you said an SLR is for this type of person, a TLR is for this type of person, who are those type of people?
well, I got slated because I said that I don't think TLRs are good for portraits.
Yeah, and a few people commented.
And don't get me wrong, like, so that guy that commented listed a load of photographers that use TLRs, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying it's probably not as good of an experience in terms of just composition, focusing, you know, the parallax effect. You know, a lot of people like close portraits, like close face portraits. So you can't really do that on a Rollie. Like, you know, you get the close-up lenses, but it's not like on an SLR, you know. So I would, in my opinion, portraits are easier to shoot on an SLR.
Yeah,
and it gives you a more flattering angle. Is usually
you could get on a ladder though and get to the right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could totally do
a
that.
ladder.
Yeah, and like I said, you can get eye level finders for TLRs. It just looks weird because you're like holding it up there. But
What's your personal preference?
TLR or SLR?
Mine depends on my mood.
Yeah,
I've really liked shooting the Rollie the last few months, so I would say that at the moment.
Yeah, I like shooting the Rollie. So yeah,
I like both.
I don't know if I could pick one.
Get both.
I think like the lenses and stuff, the lens options would probably put me off a TLR. You know, if I had to just have one, yeah. But then again, like there is something nice about not having 50 fucking lenses. Like, do you know what I mean? Having one lens is really nice. Like, it takes another thing. Like I said about shooting square format, takes another thing out of it that you don't have to think about. But SLR probably, if I had to have one.
Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily mean I prefer it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just
okay.
It's more convenient. The more convenient camera.
Yeah. Okay, I'd go along with that. Before we wrap up, thoughts on the location. So we went to Alexandra. And I can't remember, it's and something estate. Ainsworth estate. I
wouldn't go to London just for that because there's, like you say, you walk up and down it in like 10 minutes. But it's cool to see, and it is like, it's weirder than the Barbican, I'd say.
If you know of any other interesting locations in the UK, I'd say.
Yeah.
We'll definitely not be into the US anytime soon.
No.
If you're watching from there, let us know. And that'd be it. We've also got prints for sale. I've got prints now.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I mentioned it.
Nice.
So if you want to see my mediocre photographs that you want to buy, put on your wall, why not? Mother's Day's coming up. And Ben's got some as well. Ben's are better, but just buy mine and Ben's.
Cheers.
If you want. That's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Comment if you're able. And we'll see you next time for more sexy and exciting adventures on film. Goodbye.